Alright, so again, using a heavy cast iron skillet, we're going to go ahead and start the salmon. We don't want as much oil as the latkes, we just want a little bit on the bottom, and we want to get this smoking hot. We want this so that when we lay our salmon in it, it starts building that really nice crust. One of the things I would caution against is having your heat too low and having a skillet that's too small. You want a little bit of room around the outside, and I might be running on the side of having a skillet that's too small for this, we shall see. So, one of the other things, if you wanted to do this individuals, as opposed to a big platter, you know, where people can kind of help themselves, they're going to break pieces off, you could go ahead and cut the salmon into 4 equal pieces and sear them. So you'll see one of the things, and I don't know if it's coming through, yeah, you can't really see it on here, but you'll see the oil when it's in the pan. You can tell when the velocity of it's changed as it's gotten hotter. One of the things we can do to check it is just a little sprinkle of our herbs. They kind of burn out. You see we've got smoke coming up. So we're going to go ahead and lay our skin side down, since that's the fattier side, laying it away from ourselves. And we're just going to let that go. Now one of the things we want to do here is we want to create a nice crust. I'm actually going to jump my heat up to high now that it's in the pan. We want to create a nice crust, but we don't want burning. We're going to go ahead and you can smell, you know, you guys can't smell, but you'll smell when you do this. All that really nice coriander and fennel flavors really come up and hit you when they hit the pan. So again, I'm a big rare to mid-rare, especially salmon, tuna, fish person. So I'm not going to cook this real long. I probably will not even pop mine in the oven. Just because I think, with, you know, the nice tight texture of this fish and how good of a product it is, I do not want to. I don't want to overcook it. You see, that's a good sign there. I swirled it and it just moved a little bit. You don't want to come in and shake the pan a lot at this point. Again, things I've talked about in other classes and whatnot is, you know, at amateur cooks, or you shake it on, you look really cool. You got fire going everywhere, grease going everywhere. But what's going to happen is your salmon's going to stick and break apart. You're really building this really nice crust. This is where also, if you were a skin-on salmon person, this would be the skin side would be down first, and you'd be building that really crispiness. Whenever we do at the restaurant, we do skin-on fish. We cook it probably 3/4 of the way on that side, and then flip it. And so you see we got a little bit of smoke coming out, not a whole lot. We're starting to build up a little bit of browning around the outside edges. You give this cheater just look. You know, we have a nice crust starting. What I'm really looking to do is kind of toast the fennel and the coriander and the black pepper into the salmon and get a nice, even kind of crust on it. Not a lot of oil. I'm going to actually go ahead. I see I'm a little bit dry on that corner of the pan, so I'm going to add just a little bit. The cat smells good fish cooking, so he's up here looking around if he happens to crawl into the wind or into the screen here. Dogs and kids are asleep so far, so that's a good thing. So I'm going to take a peek and just look. Get a nice crust going. We try not to mess with it. The other thing is, we're looking at it with tongs. It kind of breaks up the texture of it. So I'm going to go ahead and get my fish spatula. I'm going to go ahead and flip this the same way. See, we got that really nice crust on the top. I'm going to go ahead where I hit it with the tongs. I'm going to let this go for a couple minutes on that side. Turn my heat down just a little, as I'm trying not to smoke out my house. One of the things I struggle with at home is I don't have a commercial hood behind me or above me, so it tends to set off fire alarms and things like that when I decide to pan sear something. If I was doing this in summer and not on video, I would completely do it out on the grill. My side burner, I kind of create as much smoke as I want without really worrying about it. I'm not going to do the butter mix in this just because I don't want that flavor. I want that flavor reserved for the hollandaise. Take a peek at my underside, get nice and brown. Actually, from the size of this, I am going to pop it in the oven for a few moments. And this is much like any other protein. You know, when I touch it, it's going to be that initial touch is going to be my rare. You know, and then up the scale it goes. So I'm going to put this in the oven for a moment, and we're going to move on to working hollandaise.